The shoemaker and his wife lived in a poor workshop, growing older and poorer. One cold evening, he only had enough leather left to cut and sew just one final pair of shoes. The shoemaker sighed deeply out of despair, then placed the cut leather on the table, deciding to sew it the next morning. His wife comforted her husband with a reassuring look and good nature, and then they both went to bed. The next morning, the shoemaker was utterly astonished to find that there was not a piece of leather on the table, but one perfectly finished pair of shoes. The shoes were sewn with incredibly fine stitching, making them perfect, far exceeding his own ability. The shoemaker joyfully took the beautiful shoes to the market and sold them for a very high price immediately. With that money, he bought enough leather for 2 pairs of shoes, and again cut the leather and put it on the table before going to bed, secretly thankful for the miracle. The next day, 2 pairs of shoes were again perfectly sewn, and the shoemaker and his wife became richer and more prosperous. After many nights of the miracle repeating itself, the shoemaker and his wife grew intensely curious about who was helping them. One night, they hid behind a thick curtain in the corner of the room, holding their breath and waiting for the secret to be revealed. When the clock struck midnight, 2 tiny, naked, and nimble elves suddenly appeared. They jumped onto the table, took their tiny shoemaking tools, and began their work with astonishing dedication and speed. Their tiny fingers moved as fast as lightning, sewing all the shoes before dawn broke. The shoemaker and his wife were moved to tears, deeply touched by the selfless kindness of the 2 little elves. The wife said, "We must repay our little friends," and decided to sew clothes for them. The wife diligently sewed 2 lovely sets of clothes in bright green and red, and the shoemaker made them tiny shoes and hats. That evening, they ceremoniously placed the new clothes and shoes on the table instead of the leather. The 2 elves cheered with joy when they saw the new clothes, quickly put them on, and proudly admired themselves. The shoemaker and his wife lived happily and prosperously ever after, forever grateful. And so, the story of the shoemaker and his tiny friends concludes in prosperity and laughter. The miracle did not come from gold or silver, but from the kindness of his heart and his own diligence. The tiny clothes were a worthy gift in return for the elves, and the lasting wealth was the reward for the couple's selfless generosity. Remember that every act of kindness, no matter how small, is a seed sown for future happiness and blessing.